Hi everyone, I'm going to make a short video of how to set up your gradebook in Schoology. I'm assuming you all know how to get to Schoology. If not, let me know. I can help you navigate there. It's just schoology.spps.org. And once you go there, you might have to log in. I'm already logged in. Once you're all logged in and everything, you're going to click on Courses, and all your courses should be populated. If they're not, let me know. We can put in a ticket to get that fixed. So select whatever course you want to set your gradebook up for, and then you're going to click Grade Setup. Once you're here, you need to add your categories. We're going to add 2 categories now. The only category that actually affects the grade is the assessments. So we're going to add an assessments category, and it's going to be calculated by percent, and assessments are 100% of the student's grade. So I'm creating that category. I also want to add a category for practice, but that's 0% of the student's grade. Although it's 0% of the student's grade, you'll still be able to give the student feedback, and they will get to see how they're doing. You can still grade it, it's just not going to impact their final grade, but they'll be able to see how they're doing. You can use rubrics and everything for the practice. You can also add a category for ATLs. You can add a category for anything as long as the only thing that's impacting their final grade is the assessments category, which should be at 100%. So now we've got our category set up. Next, you want to come down here, make sure that you are selecting the HPMS Highland Middle School MYP. You want to make sure that quarter 1 is weighted at 100% and quarter 2 is at 0% because we're only grading quarter 1 right now. You want to select grade period override columns and hide overall student grade. Make sure you click Save Changes. So now our categories are set up. The next thing we're going to do is add a rubric. So if you come over here, you'll see rubrics. You want to select that and select Add a Rubric. So as you can see, the default rubric in Schoology is out of 4 points. We want to make sure that the highest score is 8. And then you want to add your other numbers in here. So I'm just going to change that. And then 0. You can change the descriptors here too, based on what your rubric says. So we'll go back and do that in a little bit. Your rubric title, you can name it whenever you want, but we'll come back to that in a second. I want to show you where to find your criteria. It's under Learning Objectives. So we're going to select Learning Objectives. Select Custom Learning Objectives. Select Group, HPMS Staff. All of our different subjects are right here. I'm going to select Language Acquisition for Chinese. And these are the 4 categories for language acquisition. You can assess a student with however many of these you want. It's just up to you and your group what you want to do. If I'm going to have a student writing or speaking, I'm going to choose communicating. And I also want to assess them on using language because that's kind of the accuracy. But if it's a reading assessment, I can just select reading would be written text. If it's listening, I can just select spoken. So it's up to you on what you're actually assessing. So let's say I'm assessing spoken language. So I'm going to select communicating and using language, then add the learning objectives. And let's say this rubric is for the first spoken assessment, which is a meet and greet. So up here, this, you just want to get rid of that because you only want to have it have your categories. So here, you can change the descriptors to reflect what it says in the rubrics in your guide. So I would change this to reflect what the language acquisition rubric says. So this is my rubric for the meet and greet. I am going to create it. Then I can go and actually create the assignment for the meet and greet. And when I do that, I will select this rubric. But that's going to be in another video. So what you can do now from this video is create your categories. That's the first step. You need a category for assessments, weighted at 100%, and you need a category for practice, weighted at 0%. You need to use the HPMS Highland Middle School MYP scale, and you need to add your rubrics. That's the first step for setting up your gradebook.